And yet somehow every other ad that you see on your feed is telling you to strap something tight around your waist for a few hours a day. And that's going to give you the body that you want. So let's actually see what the science says, because the answer is more nuanced than either side of the internet is really giving you. All right, peace, world. It's your boy, Alchemy Fitness. We back with another one. So, over here, we don't do any hype. We don't shame. We just do the work. All right, so today we're going to talk about waist trainers. Yes, I often get questioned about, Tris, do you think about waist trainers? So here it is. All right. So depending on who you follow, of course, I know you guys, you know what I'm saying? You either be told that these things are game changers or you've been told that they're dangerous garbage. But here's the truth. Both camps are actually right or partially right. Not 100%, of course. But one is going to give you the full picture. So today we're going to break it down what waist trainers actually does, and is there a legitimate reason to actually use one? What the market gets completely wrong, and what you should be doing if your actual goal is to get a smaller and stronger waist. All right, so let's get it. You dig? All right, so basically, it's funny because when I think about this shit, I remember back in the day, people would wear saran wrap around their waist to actually try to lose belly fat. And one thing before I go on, there's a difference between sweating, because you're sweating and not losing fat. So just because you have a waist trainer around your midsection doesn't mean you're burning fat. Sweating is a mechanism that your body does to cool itself down. That's like saying if I'm standing at a bus stop on a hot day, I'm sweating, I'm burning fat. No, my body's just trying to cool itself down. All right, so let's get that out the way. But what do I know? All right, so a waist trainer basically is a compression garment. It's made from neoprene, latex, and elastic fibers, designed to squeeze your midsection as tightly as possible. Right, so you got versions with Velcro, hooks, lace, you name it. You know what I'm saying? But they've been around for centuries. There's nothing new under the sun. Back in the day, they call it corsets, girdles, different names, same concept, right? But the gist is just basically to compress your waist to give you that hourglass silhouette, and who doesn't like that, But now with social media, they've had a massive comeback. So celebrities promoting them, ad content influencers wearing them at the gym, companies promising permanent results. All right, so let's see what they actually do and what they don't. All right. So the $64 million question is there a legitimate reason to wear a waist trainer, right? Do they actually support you, right? The compression garment, right? But after certain abdominal or spinal surgeries, we're talking about like liposuction, abdominoplasty, a hernia repair, surgeons will sometimes recommend wearing an abdominal binder. The compression helps reduce swelling and bruising and supports tissue healing. So the key word here, like PB Playhouse, will be sometimes, right? And it's always under medical guidance. So don't forget that. So there's also limited evidence that shows that compressions around the lumbar region can offer short-term relief for people with chronic low back pain. Although the research on that is mixed, is not something you want to rely on long term. So if you had a procedure and your doctor handed you one of these, that makes sense. That's an actually therapeutic context. Everything is context, right? Everything else, we're going to talk about that a little further, okay? So I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. There are a few specific claims being thrown around constantly, and they don't hold up to the scrutiny. Number one is that waist trainers help you lose weight. I'm going to say it again. Waist trainers help you lose weight. So this is a misleading, this is very misleading statement, actually. You know what I'm saying? Or claim, rather. You might see the scale drop when you're wearing one, but you're losing its water weight. So because the compression increases your body temperature, you sweat more. The second you hydrate, the weight comes back. That's why I made the statement earlier. So waist trainers have actually zero impact on body fat, zero. And that's not an opinion. That's how metabolism works. Like I mentioned with the bus stop example, right? It's just water weight that you're losing. Your body's trying to cool itself, right? And anytime and just a note, When people say they want to lose weight, the language really is because they're uninitiated. They don't know. The language really is they want to lose body fat. That's the key. Lose body fat, build muscle. They say tone, but there's no such thing. Just for you guys' edification reasons, okay? So always think of that. That's why sometimes I tell clients don't get too crazy with the scale. All right. So claim number two is a permanently reshape your waist. Oh man, damn. The game is goofy out here, man. There's a lot of game goofy people out here. Not, you got those who promoting that shit and thinking that they don't know, you know what I'm saying? But it's judgment free zone, man. So here's the thing about your body. Your organs aren't static. They shift slightly when compressed. So that's what's creating the visual slimming effect when you put the trainer on, right? But when you take it off, your body returns to its natural shape. The effect is entirely temporary. We want to charge you guys with false advertisement. They got things for guys too to make like they got a better posture and stuff like that with more muscles. False advertisement. You get sued, man. Long term, consistent use does not train your body into a new shape. What it can is that nobody really talks about is actually weaken the muscles that are responsible for holding your midsection in because you're more relaxed. That's why I don't even wear a belt when I'm training also. But shout out to those who do. 3, they boost your workouts. Uh yeah, man. I want to spend a second on this because this is where it stops being about aesthetics and start being about safety. And over here, safety is always first. As I say, train hard, train smart, train safe. So we want to ensure safety is always number one. So wearing a waist trainer during exercise restricts your ability to breathe fully. It reduces natural engagement of your core muscles because the trainer is doing the job your muscles should be doing. It can cause overheating, and there's no credible evidence that makes your workouts more effective for fat loss. If anything, it's actually making it less safe. I tell clients all the time, in any exercise that you do, you should be training your core. You should engage your core. I don't care if you're biting your fingernails, engage your core. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're walking, that's why we tell you walk with your chest up, roll your shoulders back, engage your core. Because it helps with the posture as well. I did a video on that, the benefits of having good posture. Check that out. All right, so let's talk about being consistent and long-term use can actually do for you, right? First is your core, right? Your abdominal and back muscles are supported to be working the stabilizers of your spine. So when you wear a waist trainer for hours every day, those muscles tend to get bypassed. And over time, you could actually weaken the muscles, right? Which means poor posture, less stability, and ironically, a less toned midsection. Right. Second, your organs, right? Your liver, kidneys, and the digestive system sit in that zone. So heavy compression can interfere with digestion, right? Then people say you full of shit, right? Some people experience acid reflux, discomfort, even nerve compression in the hip area, right? So you're actually thinking you got sciatica, but sciatica actually shoots down your leg, but poor hip mobility is definitely a bad thing. So it's a condition called neuralgia, parasitica. I sound like one of them dudes when they like, read this on the index cards just now, right? Which causes numbness and burning down the outer thigh. See, I know what I'm talking about, man. Third is breathing. Also, when you're exercising, please breathe. Engage your core in through your nose, out through your mouth. And there's a reason why you breathe through your nose and not through your mouth. Because when you breathe through your nose, it warms, filter, and humidifies the oxygen that actually gets circulate through your body um, the way it should be, especially through the nasal passage that also goes to your brain and circulates throughout your body. So when you breathe through your mouth, you pass that. All right. That's why we exhale through our mouth. All right. So third, like I said, is breathing. Restricted breathing affects everything: your energy, your workout performance, your recovery, even your stress response. All right. So none of this means that putting on a waist trainer once is going to ruin your health. Short term, I guess, is okay for visual effects. The risk is low, but this is just over a period of time, all right, that we're talking about. And the risk versus reward ratio doesn't work in your favor. All right. So here's to say underneath all of this, the reason waist trainers sell so well is because isn't because they work. It's because they give you a false promise. Basically, it's a snake oil shit. You know what I'm saying? So the desire to feel confident in your body, to see the change, to feel like something is working. That's completely valid. That's human. It's almost like a pseudo effect kind of thing. So the problem isn't wanting a different body. I mean, that's why we work out, right? Because you want to feel good about yourself. You want to see the change in your body. But the problem is when we look for shortcuts, and then when they don't deliver, it actually sets us back because the industry figured out that selling us the shortcut is more profitable than selling the truth. I want the truth, right? You gotta make sure you can handle the truth, man. All right. So I'm gonna talk about what actually works because your boy gonna give you the answers, right? You got the answers, Sway. All right. So keep it a buck. What actually works, man, if you want a smaller defined waist, the research actually really care on what really moves the needle. And that's what we're all about. One, strength training, right? Particularly compound movements, right? Deadlift, rows, squats, they engage core stabilizers. They build muscles that actually give you a tighter midsection, right? And unlike compression garments, the effect doesn't disappear when you change clothes. All right. Now, two, targeted core work, right? These are like your plants, your deck bugs, uh, parallel presses. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're doing an overhead standing press, that's a press, or a bench press, because you have to engage your core to really stabilize, right? Um, so that gives you the stability and real posture and the real definition over time. That's what I mentioned about earlier, right? Number three is your nutrition. I can't stress that enough, right? So now amount of compression you can do will change the body fat percentage. Like I said earlier, it's about dropping body fat and building muscle. And this is how you do it through your nutrition. Caloric deficit, high protein, high fiber, throwing your carbs and healthy fats. All right. And if you need help with that, shoot me a DM. I got you. Right. So you want consistent and sustainable eating habits that fit into your lifestyle. Right. So not no restriction or a crash diet. I don't believe in that because I believe that this is a lifestyle change that you're making and you want to be able to keep it going. So when you do a fad diet, you're going to gain the weight right back because you haven't developed really the eating habits and the relationship with food as you should, right? To actually have a consistent change throughout your body, right? And number four, of course, is consistency over time. And in that consistency, please be patient with yourself, guys. I can't stress that enough, right? Yes, it is unsexy, but that's how it goes. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, slow, consistent progress beats aggressive shortcuts every single time. When you look at it 6 months and the 12-month outcomes. So always take pictures, look at your energy level, and check your clothes. All right. So cool. So there you go. Compound lifts, core work, nutrition, time equal real results. That's more sustainable. All right. So waist trainers are not inherently evil. They're not. If a surgeon recommends them after a procedure, use as directed. Of course, they're just a tool. And if you want to wear ones for special occasion, you're trying to get into that wedding dress on a short notice, then be my guest. But make sure you relax after. You know what I mean? Because remember, your compression, your organs together. All right. So uh do that at your own risk, right? But if you're investing real time and money into a waist trainer because you believe that it's going to reshape your body and burn fat and build your core, then you're sadly mistaken, right? Because I just showed you some of the evidence there. And in the long term, definitely it's gonna work against you and your goal that you're chasing. All right. So your core isn't broken. You just got to retrain the muscles. All right. And that's very important today. I mean, to do. All right. So I hope that's it. Just train properly, train hard, train smart, and train safe. That's basically it. Like, boring routines equal elite results. All right. And that's it. And if this helped you or cleared up any understandings that you had about waist trainers, I'd love to hear about you guys in the comments or what struggles that you have. And if you're looking for online training program or macronutrient coaching as well, click the link in the description, reach out, and let's see if we can work together and get you over to point A to point B. All right, simple as that. All right, this is Alchemy Fitness, where we transfer you from lead to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Till next time, peace.